weapons barrier was at 2:30. You missed it.
What is going on, everybody? Psycho Black here today with the Psycho Squad, and we're going to be talking about some things you probably missed in the Spider-Man Homecoming trailer number 2. So, really quickly, we're going to start off with the spider bots. Now, I know this was something released in yesterday's teaser, but I didn't want to mention it in a 3-minute video that was going to be just 3 minutes. You know, it's not really anything cool. So, if you didn't already know, the spider bots were created by Otto Octavius whenever he switched consciousnesses with Peter Parker. He created spider bots so that way they can help him. They were little, small, and red blue spiders that can send information and images through lenses in his mask, his mobile phone, his tablet, or his TV, while in Peter's body, Octavius can control them through his mental command in order to have them perform different tasks. Now, whether or not, I'm pretty sure it's pretty obvious at this point that in this universe or this movie that they're not going to have Otto Octavius as the one who invented the spider bots. It's going to be Tony Stark, but I mean, it's still cool nonetheless that we get to see the spider bots and how they actually play a role. Next, we have this scene. Now, this was a scene from the first trailer, but I wanted to talk about him in here. That if you didn't already know this, Peter Parker is actually a fan of Star Wars. That is the Death Star. And behind him, behind Peter in the next shot right here, we get to see, what is that, like a X-Wing pilot, R2-D2, C-3PO, which I thought that was cool. Now that leads us to believe that Star Wars actually existed in the Spider-Man universe that they're building here. So whether or not we get mentions from them or mentions from like other movies like Ghostbusters or something like that, it's obviously apparent that Parker is a fan of the older movies. So I thought that was pretty neat that they put that in there. Can you summon an army of a spider army? And that is a complete reference to Spider Army, the multiverse comic where Spider-Man and a bunch of other spider heroes go and fight the inheritors in a multiverse, basically what I just said. So I thought that was pretty neat that they threw that in there. That's pretty cool. Obviously we're not going to see anything like that, but you know, referencing some comics from time to time is never a bad idea. The next thing we get to see is the classic throwback to the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Now, this was in the first Homecoming trailer, but I thought we would talk about it in the second one because we didn't do a first trailer breakdown. But we get to see, basically it's the same thing, you know, except I don't think this suit is going to rip, but we get to see, you know, the same thing, trying to hold people together so they don't all die to their impending dooms. Luckily, we get the next shot, and Iron Man, Tony Stark, comes in with his little iron bots and holds the ship back up together, and we can assume that they get it back together safely. I just want to mention really quick that Aunt May is smoking hot. And going on, we get to see the Vulture. I think this is so badass because although he's not that old brittle man that we usually see him as in the comics, we do get to see the white feathers around his neck. However, they're not white, they're just, you know, feathers and fur on the coat. But I mean, still nonetheless, it's pretty cool homage and it's a really cool shot. And I'm so glad that Michael Keaton is playing the Vulture. I think that is a fantastic move, and I cannot wait to see what he brings to the table. The next thing here we get to see is the Scarlet Spider inverted kind of twist. Here we have the picture of the actual Scarlet Spider from 1994, but it looks like Peter has his own version of that. Maybe it's just an inverted, there's not really a set costume that they're going with. Maybe they're going to call it the Homecoming costume or something like that. But it is pretty cool nonetheless. I wish it would have been the Scarlet Spider-Man, even though I don't think it would make total sense because Parker here has goggles and stuff like that, and the blue is actually on the outside instead of the inside. But, I mean, it still looks cool nonetheless. So, if you think we did a good job, make sure you go ahead and like and subscribe on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, go ahead and leave a comment in the comment box down below. And we will see you guys in the next video. Deuces!